Obviously the characters have evolved over the course of the season so far. I'm wondering the show itself, from what you initially signed on to where you are and where it's going. Not seeking spoilers, by the way. Wondering, though, how the show itself has evolved. How do you think it's changed as it's gone on?
I think what's really fun about the show, about the writing of the show, is that we give you a premise, which is three unlikely heroes go back in time to stop a man from destroying history. And then we subvert the ways in which you think it'll happen. It starts off very us going there and going away, but then we have episodes like Stranded where, you find out things like what is it like if their time machine gets destroyed and they're caught back in time. We have episodes like the Nixon tape where all of our secrets come into play, like all the things that we've been hiding suddenly are brought into the forefront. And each time that happens, it forces the show to go in a slightly different avenue or direction than we thought it would go. You know what I mean? So it seems like there's one sort of procedural almost aspect to it, and then all of a sudden it answers the question that you waited for, which is like, what happens if they find out each other's secrets? What happens if they meet Rittenhouse? What happens if they're stuck in the past? What happens if, how do they keep coming up with the clothes? Where do they get the clothes? So it winds up answering these sort of questions that after you've watched one version of the show, you go, well, what happens if it goes this way? And then we do it.
I don't think that it has inadvertently changed. I think that things have evolved by design in the fact that, we're introduced and we think that we've got one villain who's out to get the world, but, 8 episodes later, we are introduced to a massive, major conspiracy, with a worldwide Illuminati-type power behind everything, that is Rittenhouse. So I think less changing, more developing and revealing.
I love evolved by design.
Coin that.
Yeah.
What do you think the fascination is with time travel? Because it is one of those concepts that has been around forever, and people seem to love it. I mean, what do you think that appeal is?
It's been explored. H.G. Wells, Isaac Asimov, Spielberg, by different people in the literary world and the cinematic world, and I think it's always ripe with story. We all recognize regret, and we're also fascinated by sci-fi, and it's also one of those things that seems like it could be possible. There's so many theoretical versions of time travel. If you look at Novikov, who posited some theories on how it is possible and is not possible, it's always been one of those things that danced between a scientific reality and a completely fantastical reality. And because of that, I think it's been ripe with exploring where it could go in people's imaginations, whether you're old or young.
I think it's the closest thing to being a superhero, And a superhero is the closest thing to being God, in a way. So with the ability to time travel is like having the ability to fly. It's something that I think we, dream about because it's so fantastical.
Mm-hmm.
There's something in, like you're saying, the whole godlike thing, the idea of you have the power to alter history, to change lives, literally, by altering the timeline is fascinating, too.
Yeah, I mean, we are constantly talking about fate versus free will, which is a classic conceit in real people's lives and on television, which is like how much, and it goes into this meta thing, which is, how much control do we have over life and how much is it predestined and what do we have control of? And I think it's one of the things that you wrestle with as a human always philosophically. And so we're doing that just with guns and silly costumes.
Taking this grandiose concept and reducing it to guns and silly costumes.
And that's the fun part of it. It's sort of that spoonful of sugar thing, right? Like we play cowboys and we play dress up and we have a bunch of fights and we do all these things, and at the end of the day, it's a metaphor for love and finding each other and all these things, and that's what you want to do. You don't want to be too outside of your bubble to think you're talking down to people and all these things. I think you want to be able to hand it to people because we all wonder these things, but you also want to do it and have fun and have a wink and a smile, and I think we do a good job of sort of balancing those things.
Very cool.
cool. Gentlemen, I was told that, that's it time-wise. So listen, thank you very much. That's funny, time-wise. Thanks for taking the time, though.
No problem. Thank you.
Today. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, take care.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ed.